Anti-Afro Svengalis, things just get me thinking. I get reminded of things when certain things happen. And this is one of those moments. I'm not going to pass up the opportunity to tell you about it because it qualifies as one of those incredibly bizarre and disgusting situations that I'm not going to ignore. So we have this King Kong crud, this King Kong crackhead that has never gotten over the fact that we left his channel, that we decided we didn't like the way he was doing business. We didn't like the way he was addressing us and dealing with us, and we just left. After some incidents, he finally says he buried the hatchet and he moved on. Then we come to find out he was running sneak panels, making money off us, talking all kinds of shit. I mean, mad shit. Not just giving an opinion, just really going in hard and lying about us. And one of the things that he honed in on was attacking Rev G, making up lies about Rev G's marriage, denigrating Rev G in his role as a reverend. I mean, just A to Z. Made up a story that Rev G smokes and has to hide from his wife, and just was completely attacking left and right. And remember, he was getting paid for it. We had no idea this was going on. There were several people who were offended by King Kong Crud's behavior, and they sent us the live streams, the sneak panels. So when he realized that happened, he got pissed, but who cares? But I want to tell you why I'm bringing this up now. This is one of those situations where you have subjects, and he's one of them, who love talking so much shit about other people, lying about other people, joining in to attack other people, but they have absolutely no tolerance for any blowback, no tolerance for anyone to reciprocate, even if it's at a significantly less intense degree. Because he goes to the hilt calling you all kinds of gender attacking names, mentions AIDS, talks about beaten meat and all that stuff. He really goes overboard in his drunken rages. And he went in hard with Rev G, denigrating him. This is basically blasphemous. Like he's in a position to judge Rev G about him being a reverend. So I was really blown away. Well, I thought I was blown away when I first heard this, but then something else came behind it. King Kong Crud suddenly gets up and tells the world that he's training to be a bishop. Training to be a bishop. Yes, I'm saying it twice in a row, so you can be darn sure you heard what I said. But guess what? None of his behaviors have changed. The drunken rages have not stopped. The name calling has not stopped. And you want to know what really prompted me to do this video, which I had been planning to do, but other things were coming up. There was an incident right there in Tennessee, which is where he lives, of a pastor who got into a verbal altercation with some folks in a bar. Well, let me be fair, because at first when it came out, they presented it like it was a bar, like straight up bar. But it's actually a bar and an eatery, Mama's Bar and Kitchen. They have full-scale restaurant there. It was a bar nonetheless. And he was at Mama's Bar and Kitchen at 1:15 in the morning, married with kids and grandkids. He gets into an argument. This is Pastor Ricky Floyd. You see him on the screen and you see a woman on the screen. I'm going to tell you her role. He gets into an argument initially with this woman. Her name is Samantha Marion, and some other people. And they're talking about religion. That's the argument. So as the argument stops at one point, it heads outside, and the reports are that he threw a beer can at her. They go outside. He threw a beer can at her and grabbed her phone because he noticed she was recording and threw her phone. She goes to retrieve her phone, and he's apparently yelling at the people that were with her as well. She goes to pick up her phone and starts to record him because he's driving away. And I want to let you see what was released by the police at this point in time. I'm going to come back and wrap up this intro. Stay tuned and I will return.
Outside Mama's Bar and Kitchen, March 12th. Phone video captured what appears to be some of the final moments of Pastor Floyd's life. It shows the Tahoe truck he is in putting on brakes, Pastor Floyd getting out, walking toward the person shooting the video as they yell to back up.
I'm backing back 3 times now. When I do that, you know, back the up. Back the
Then the video drops out. WREG sat down with the attorneys for Samantha Marion, charged with shooting Pastor Floyd to death. They say the video speaks for itself.
The video does not capture the gunfire that would have taken place probably maybe 3 or 4 seconds later, but it clearly shows him approaching her aggressively after being told several times to stop and that he should not be, walking up on her like that.
This is a disaster. But I want to make sure I deliver this cautionary tale. You never know who is packing heat. And you see how confident, how determined he was when he got out of that car, marching straight towards this woman. Look at the look on his face. Remember, everyone, this is a pastor, a well-known, a beloved, a popular pastor in the community. Obviously does not have control over his emotions. I have no idea whether or not he was drinking. He had a beer can. Maybe he picked it up off the table and threw it at the people. But he was bound and determined not to get his car on a video. It's not like people didn't see him already in the restaurant/bar. Just horrendously poor judgment all the way around for everyone involved. But there's only one person who ended up dead. The one who continued to be aggressive. Cautionary tale, a certainly buyer beware worthy. I know it's not much, but it appears to me that he basically got his hands on her and she shot him. But the police are saying that he put his hands in the air. They didn't show that part of the video, but it looks like he actually touched her. I don't know when his hands went in the air. At any rate, she was arrested for voluntary manslaughter, has since bailed out. And the community that he served was, quote, devastated. And oh my goodness, he was a pillar. He did so many good things. You had a lot of people saying a lot of good things about this pastor. I thought it was very interesting because, people can say good things about you. Everybody has faults. But what I thought was very telling. Number one, he's at a restaurant, enjoying a meal, as his church had put out later on. What is the reason he can't enjoy a meal with his wife? Because people were criticizing the woman for being there and she has 4 children. Well, he has a wife, children, and grandchildren. What's the reason he was there without his wife? I don't know if she's married or not, but they're saying she should have been home with her kids. At any rate, number one, looking at his demeanor, his angry demeanor, how he got out of the car and was approaching her, that's one thing. Number two, there was a video that came out before this incident, obviously, where he apologized for, I guess, going ham on another woman. I'm not going to play that here, but I am going to put the link below the title. Check that video out. He talked about the incident, and hearing him talk, it just brought back all of these very bizarre presentations that you see with King Kong Crud. You can tell by the way this dude talks that he doesn't have control of his anger. So he was a pastor that was well known and well loved. And here you got King Kong Crud thinking he can judge the world and claims to be a bishop in training. So this pastor, Ricky Floyd, talked about how he went just clean cold off on the sister because they were getting into a discussion. He had, a show online, and there was some disagreement about religious doctrine regarding, I think, repentance. And he didn't agree with what she said. And apparently he went straight all the way off. And he's not saying what he said, but it sounds intense. And just hearing him talk, I'm just saying to myself, yes, people have faults, but I'm not seeing what is so grand about his brand of ministry. If you're unable to sustain your temper to the point you're going to just go off on folks like that, it's like King Kong Crud does the same thing. And this is what I hate about the criticism of the black church. You hear things like, the black church is like all these negative things. I don't even want to repeat or even characterize it. Very negative. Condemning the black church. Failing to see it's not the black church as an institution. It's those who decide to go and represent the black church. There are those who go, they have the best intentions when they go and serve. There are those who start out, they don't have good intentions. How can you have good intentions and go get training to be a bishop? And I'm talking about King Kong Crud in particular at this point. The way he's acting on YouTube, and he thinks he's in good stead to go and get training to be a bishop. He's got a what calling? Is that from the devil? It can't be from God. It has to be from the devil. Now, as far as Pastor Ricky Floyd, I can't judge his calling because I don't know him. That wouldn't be fair. But it seemed something just wasn't right. And one thing he said I thought was most disturbing of all, this is Pastor Ricky Floyd in his speech, when he was describing how he apologized. He said that there was something going on in his family he couldn't even talk to the other pastors about. And I was floored by that. You were in a leadership position and you're struggling, yet you can't go talk to someone. You don't feel enough trust with the clergy of the church that you are a pastor in, that you can go to someone, which leads me to believe he was putting up appearances. And when I say putting up appearances, I'm not going to call the man phony. I don't want to say that. But he was struggling and didn't trust. So if you're struggling with a problem, with a serious problem to the point where you're mentioning it and saying you can't go to somebody in your church, or obviously nowhere, there's a big problem. It appears he was more tied up in what others thought of him versus than what is reality for him. Dealing with a lot of stuff and didn't feel comfortable enough to get help. That's what it seems like. But here with King Kong Crud, it's calculating. What the reason are you going to church for? Being a bishop? What's your motivation? You're a scammer. Just like you scammed with the situation with you getting that bullet in your head. At first, I thought, oh my goodness, we need to support this dude. I just realized how evil he is, how abusive he is, to go behind people's backs that were supporting him and run sneak panels and lie on them. So from the outset, he's entering the church world, the service world within the church, with very evil intent. He's a shepherd for the devil. I can't say that about Pastor Ricky Floyd. Could have just been in turmoil. He was having issues. But this is a shepherd for the devil. King Kong Crud, King Kong Crackhead is a shepherd for the devil. The nerve to sit there and talk about Rev G's marriage. How long did your marriage last? King Kong crud. Not even 3 years. Gerald's been married 23 or 24 years. Who the hell are you to sit here and judge Gerald Palmer, Reverend Gerald Palmer, about anything? And now you want to enter into the service world in the church as a bishop, and you think you have a calling from God? No, that's a calling from the devil himself. It's so evil. And he's still up here on YouTube doing the same shit he was doing before, trying to blame everybody else for his problems. The nerve of this fool to sit here and say shit about anybody else. A liar. You're the biggest liar there is. Who are you to tell someone that they're a liar? You're a liar for going to that church and entering into a training program to be a bishop. If ever there was a lie, that would be it. Being a shepherd for the devil and walking into that church and acting like you care. Wearing black to church? That's disgusting. Where do you get that from? You don't wear black to church. Shepherd for the devil. Straight up. And the other thing I wanted to make sure I drove home, he didn't think it was any problem. He completely applauded. Not just all of these threats, these death threats against us. He laughed, he thumbed up, all of those horrific criminal acts that people were threatening against us. He laughed about it. King Kong Crud thought it was funny, thought rape was funny, thought sexual torture was funny, thought pistol whipping was funny, thought running people over with vans, thought lining us up and getting a Kel-Tec out and mowing us down, that was funny. He was thumbing up and laughing at all of it. All of it. But when he got into a fight with the beef sector reject, he was saying that we were supporting him being shot and laughing at him being shot and laughing at him with the bullet in his head. He was crying and screaming all over the place. This is December 2023 when he started kicking around and screaming and hollering, just going off the rails, screaming at the top of his lungs, saying that we were the ones doing all this and laughing at him. He got into a mutual combat, virtual combat fisticuffs with the beef sector reject and was mad because me and Rev G were in the chat talking about how dirty and low down he was to strike the smoke. He waited for years to get that strike going. What the hell do you want us to say? That was his argument with the beef sector reject. And he turned around and threatened the same thing. It's mutual virtual combat. That's what it is. Don't blame us because you two got into an argument on the internet. What the hell does it have to do with us? Look who you're hanging around with. I want to make sure I drive my main point home about how he thought it was funny that Stalkertons, defrauding charlatans, I want to make sure the name is matching up with YouTube name is matching up with the legal name. Valentine Lewis, who's defrauding charlatans, defrauding Stalkertons, harassed Rev G for 2 years and started harassing him at his church, leaving messages at Rev G's church. And they all thought it was funny. Is King Kong Crazy going to think it's funny when we get these messages over to his church and let them hear what he's saying? Would he like that? Would that be funny? Because he sure thought it was funny when Rev G was being harassed. It's funny when Rev G is being harassed, when his church is being harassed, based on nothing but lies, lying to Rev G's church about him. But we tell the truth to King Kong Crud, King Kong Crackhead's church. What's he going to say? We send his voice recordings over there and his live streams. Beer and Blunts, a bishop that runs a Beer and Blunts live stream, a bishop who hosts subjects on his page that threaten homicide. It's okay to do whatever you want to me, to Rev G, to AFW, friends and supporters, but watch his reaction when we send these recordings over to his church. He thinks it's funny. He wants the worst of the worst to happen to us with lies, with slander, with harassment, with threats. But he's got a big problem with us dispensing the truth. And this is what came up for me when I got the story about this pastor. The same thing. Perpetrating a fraud, shepherding for the devil. I can't go that far with Pastor Ricky Floyd, but I certainly will go that far with King Kong Crud, because I'm a lot closer to the situation. Pastor Ricky Floyd sounded like he was struggling and didn't have anyone to talk to. What the hell is King Kong Crud's excuse? All those recordings, all those live streams. And all he had time to do was get mad at the Smoke, because Smoke took over the people in his chat and lured him over to his channel, where they did 12-hour lives, 24-hour lives, 6-hour lives, 4-hour lives. He's too boring to hold the attention. That's why they went over there. And he was pissed. And he wanted to find any reason he could to strike Smoke's channel. He's the one that makes threats of violence. I don't want to be associated with anything like that. That Smoke's threatening violence. You are threatening violence as well. Who the hell are you? I don't see Smoke running up there trying to be a bishop, claiming to be holier than thou. But look at this fool. Thinks he has the timber, the religious knowledge, the discipline, the disposition to be a bishop. A bishop is not a shepherd for the devil. A shepherd for the devil is a shepherd for the devil. Then wants to try to character hijack Rev G and act like Rev G is like him. Rev G, oh my God, you're an insult. You're disgusting. I don't give a shit what you say. You're the liar. You perpetrate a fraud. What was your pastor going to say listening to all these tapes? You calling people bitches, using the MF word, threatening violence, saying you're going to get a car together of people and go and touch somebody. Is this what a bishop is supposed to be doing? No, but he wants to pass judgment on Rev G. The nerve of this freak, jealous about every aspect of Rev G's life. Rev G is a freaking professor. What the hell are you doing? You scammed the federal government to get on disability. And you're probably not even reporting the earnings from YouTube. Another scam. Mona just didn't do it right. She didn't know how to report you correctly. She didn't put the correct items on that report. That's okay. She did what she did. She was so mad. She was in like overdrive with anger. She was a dummy. She didn't listen. I told her not to trust you. I told her not to be telling folks her business. Did not listen. Went over there in that group, got all her business out there, sent you those half-naked pictures like she sent other dudes. You're not the only one, so you're not special. He loves it when women are stupid and do what he says. And he just got pissed because I refused to go down that road. So he wants to try to find any and everybody who will not attack me and start trashing them. You got a lot of nerve. You need to trash yourself. Shepherding for the devil and trying to perpetrate as being righteous and loving God. The worst of the worst will be those who shepherd for the devil and go up in the church environment and act like they care. He doesn't care about anybody but himself, any way he can to get a buck off of others who he claims are irrelevant. I wanted to make sure I gave my 2.5 cents in this situation. Again, we have another freak, another abuser, another drunk junkie who can dish everything out, but can't never take anything. Guess what? That's too damn bad. Because if I want to come up and say something, I'm going to say it like I'm doing right now. Just like they run their damn mouths, I'm going to run mine, and I'm going to keep on running my mouth. More coming your way, folks. In the meantime, you know the drill. Buyer beware.